Hi folks, I'm here to show how we can use the Doppler navigation system on the Mi-8 to show where we are on the MGRS grid. So I'm just finishing getting started up here, get the system powered up. Now, the way you've been shown to use this is you dial in the direction you want to go, turn the system on, it keeps track of which way you're facing and which way you're drifting and how fast you're moving, and from that works out how far across track you are on the top drum and how far along track you are on the bottom drum. So what we're going to do is, rather than that, we are going to look at our MGRS grid, which are these blue rectangles all over the map, and we're going to tell it we want to go straight up the grid. And so to do that, take the ruler. Like on this flight, we're going to head off from Chin Valley here. We're going to go to attack some people in a clearing over here. So we need to pick a reference point which is south and west of that. So I'm going to use the bottom left corner or the origin corner for Mike, all these 100 kilometer squares which all have got this 2-letter name. So relevant one here is Mike. So take the ruler. I'm going to measure the angle along the length of it. That's 345 degrees. So I'm going to come in here and say, hey Doppler system, I'm using the hose house for this. 345 degrees, thank you, that's the direction I want to go today. And now I'm also going to pick a reference point near to where I'm starting from, and I'm using the stadium here, the stadium in Chin Valley, which is in Mike 1576. So that's like 15 kilometers from the left side of Mike, and 76 kilometers up from the bottom of Mike. So yes, that's right. Yeah, so 17. This is this distance here. That's 17 kilometers, and this distance here is 75, 76. That's what makes this Mike 1576. So I'm going to tell the thing that we are going to start our flight at 15 across. 15 or 16? 1576. So when I'm here, just turn on the countermeasures, turn on the autopilot. 72, 73, 76. Actually, no, 1676, because all these references, they reference the bottom left corner. So this point here is 1676 specifically. So this point here is close enough to that we can call this 1676. So I'll just put that in. So slightly before that, if you want to be 100 meter accuracy, you can pretend we are 100 meter accurate. Right, let's go ahead and take off. I think that's everything I needed. So that's kind of all you need to do. Pick a reference point, a reference point on the MGRS grid, and measure what angle DCS calls north for that grid. I take off. I've not got the Doppler system on just yet. The reason for that is the reason to use a reference point that's nearby and not actually where you're taking off is because it often takes a few minutes for the Doppler system to actually warm up. So you'll turn it on and it's not actually tracking you. You're flying for a couple of minutes before it catches up, or before it starts tracking. So that's why you pick something interesting to fly to that's nearby and use that instead. So when I pass over the stadium, well, first of all we can see the Doppler's working. It's got our ground speed and our drift angle. And as we pass the stadium, I'm going to use the hose house again to turn on the thing. So that'll do on. So it's now showing 16 on the top drum, 76 on the bottom, corresponding to our location in 1676. And as we fly, it's going to keep updating our position. Like so right now we're flying east, so it's mostly updating the east-west drum, the top drum. And in a moment I turn north, it's going to start updating the second drum, the forward aft or forward back. Now these drums are these things are actually mislabeled in the English translation here. The top drum, it says drift angle, but this here is a drift angle from the Doppler instrument. This is actually the cross-track error, which is labelled lateral deviation, I think. The manual has the translation in English as being lateral deviation, km. And then the second drum, and that's obviously that's quite a big difference. And the second drum, it says flight path km. Now your flight path, I think, is the absolute number of kilometers you've travelled. So if you go 5 kilometers north, then 8 kilometers east, you've travelled 13 kilometers. But specifically what that middle drum is measuring is how far you've travelled in the direction you said you're going to go. Like, it doesn't care if you've gone sideways, it doesn't care if you've gone up and gone back again. It's just like, from where you started, you've travelled this far in the direction of the direction you said you wanted to go in. And the last one, it says map angle. The manual translation says it's course angle, which I'm not really sure if there's a difference. I mean, I think the big difference is that if you think of map angle, that implies true degrees, whereas really all it wants is the degrees from your compass system, whether that's true or magnetic. And we're using the default, which is magnetic, so it wants the magnetic heading. There is a way of setting this thing to use your true heading, but honestly I don't really understand exactly how the Soviet compass systems work. Yeah, because it's Doppler system, like it's 3 components. You've got the compass system, you've got the Doppler radar, and then you've got the computer. Which so the compass system, it's it's a gyroscope and a magnetic sensor, which together produce a reasonably good idea of which direction you're facing. And the Doppler radar, all the Doppler radar doing is this. It's just watching the ground go past, watching the angle, watching how quickly. Shut that window, that's what I wanted. And the computer, what the computer's doing is it's taking your ground speeds, and the faster you're going, the faster it's going to turn these little drums. And that's, that's like half of it. Like, the other thing it does is it takes your heading, it takes your drift angle, and it uses that to and it takes the direction you said you wanted to go, and it uses these to split your ground speed into a long track and an across track velocity based on based on which way you're moving relative to the angle you've dialed in. And then it uses the along track velocity to wind the fore aft drum, and the cross track velocity to wind the east west drum. And that's all it is. So it's really, really simple. Like, mathematically, if you're doing it in software, you can simulate that in like 3 lines of code. Like, all the complexity comes from trying to get the input from the pilots or from the navigator and display the results back to the navigator in an era before screens and keyboards and right, we're coming up to a reference point here. So flying along this valley, there is this junction here, which is in the it's at 3082, well, but nearly 3083. So when we get to it, we'll be seeing 30 on the top drum and 82, or pretty much 83 on the middle drum. So about 1.5 kilometers to go. Oh no, 2 kilometers. So it's halfway across 30 between 3083 is here, 3183 is here. So here it's going to be 30.5. So 1 kilometer to go. Here's the junction, or the, whatever it's, a fork, and indeed 380.5 and 83, or just under 83. That's exactly exactly what you see on the map. If I zoom out so it hides the trees, 30.5, 82, but almost 83. And so the next thing we're going to reach when we cross from 86 into 87 on the fore aft, that point we want to turn right and head towards this clearing here, which is the actual destination. For some reason I expect the map to pause the game. But yeah, that's it. It's really simple. Just work out where you're flying today and pick a corner. Pick the southwest corner of the 100 kilometer grids for that area, and use that as your reference point. Measure the DCS magnetic north of the grid in that area. Dial that in as your course angle or map angle of the thing. Put your reference point as the find a reference point. Put that in as the east and the north on the cross tracker and the long track drums. Start the system when you get there, and then as you fly along, when you get to a reference point which you know in advance what it should be saying, you can just you can joggle the readouts with the left, right, aft, forward buttons to correct the any errors that will creep in. And yeah, it's great. It's because I just finished the oil field campaign with the with this helicopter, and I've really enjoyed that campaign. It's fantastic. But what I found using the Doppler system, the way the way we're taught, like in the manuals and in all the videos I've seen, you just you're sat on the pad. You draw a line to your destination. You dial in that's heading at that course and that distance. Then you take off and you just follow the numbers. You keep the cross track error 0. You fly up and down over the hills, and then you watch the number countdown. Then you're there. Whereas, and then if anything else happens, then you don't really know exactly where you are unless you're separately watching the ground go past on your map. Whereas with this, it's a bit more like an actual area navigation system, but it's got this beautiful imprecision to it. Like unlike GPS, unlike using using the tools in the sim to find out exactly where you are. With this one, you can get these natural little errors coming in, like you got if you bank the aircraft too much or you pitch or dive too steeply, then the Doppler is going to lose its lock on the ground, and that makes it go into memory mode. So all that means is, see right now it's showing us travelling at 200 kilometers an hour-ish. If I pitch back steeply, so beyond about 10 degrees, it loses lock, and it still thinks we're doing 200 kilometers an hour, but we're not. We're doing much less than that. It's still updating the computer as if we were though. So you just get these little errors coming in as you fly. We're coming up. I think this is actually where I needed to. Was it this valley or the next valley? I'm going to say it's this one. Which way was I going to head off? So from here, heading of 90 degrees, I should reach the top of the river in the next valley. I think I'm in the right place. Yeah, so you get these little errors building in, so you actually have to navigate. You need to look outside or pick reference points, look at your map. And, it's a much more interesting way of flying than, just just pointing the compass in the right direction and waiting till you arrive, or it's like, because I know where I am. I'm 4187, so if you go and look at the map, 4187, 4187, we're here. And if I decided I suddenly wanted to go, off to this village here, I can just, it's that direction, it's that distance. I know how long it's going to take to get there. Right, I'll keep recording till we get to this riverhead, which is at 4685. So, and I can use that to. Just gonna set the. I forgot to do this earlier. So, one thing I've been doing is I've been using the compass on the pilot commander's side to set the inter-wind direction, and the pilot navigator's side to set the direction I want to fly en route between legs. So I'll take off from the pilot commander's position, set cruise power, and then switch over to the pilot navigator position until I need to do something more interesting than that. Ooh, just while I'm thinking of it, noticed. Let's get the allow things to go. Do I need that switched down? What's going on? Master arms on. Ah, got the wrong switch. There we go. Bang, bang. There. Yes, so where are we? .8645 for the riverhead. 4685 even, and that is approximately where we are. Is it just over this ridge? Yes! Look at that. So 4685, 46.5, 85.5. So that is showing 4685. 46.5 is 46. In the MGRS thing, you round down any fractional values. So anyway, yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. Hope you find this interesting. I find it quite a much more fun way to navigate altogether.